Welcome back, guys. This is Sim24 TV. You are with Kennedy Bongo. We are going to discuss about basically what has gone on today in the Senate in relation to the impeachment hearing, or the intended impeachment hearing of the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. So yesterday we did a live show which went for 48 minutes. We discussed the various issues and posed the question to our viewers whether or not, in their honest opinion, they felt that the standards for impeachment, or the National Assembly, or the mover of the motion, Member of Parliament Mutuse, met the required standard that would warrant the impeachment of the Deputy President. But basically the process of the National Assembly, as many of you realized, was purely political. I think the Deputy President did not have any chance surviving in the National Assembly. Right now he has a shot at the Senate, and I believe as it is, I could give him maybe 30-70. So his chances of surviving the Senate are also much slimmer. But in terms of what the Speaker of the Senate stated today, there was some bit of hope that we may end up finding justice there, or just surviving by a whisker. However, if you look at the political realignments that are currently happening and the manner in which the Senate moved so fast to organize itself to hear that motion, then you realize that the Deputy President fate is cooked, and perhaps is looking far much ahead than we think. He's probably thinking now of maybe going to courts. He's started to prepare, and as early as today, there were several petitions that were filed against his impeachment, or rather challenging his impeachment. The Law Society of Kenya, I believe, made an application to be enjoined in some of those petitions. So it would be quite interesting how things unfold going forward, even as we wait for the Senate to kickstart the hearing process. So what happened today in the Senate was quite interesting, and in fact one of which has raised a lot of excitement among the supporters of the Deputy President, I believe. And that came from one other than the Secretary General of ODM Party, the Senator for Nairobi, Edwin Sifuna. So Edwin Sifuna, and we believe we shared that clip as well, refused to second a motion which had proposed for a constitution of a committee of 11 persons to investigate the conduct or the allegations that have been leveled against the Deputy President. So that comes from somewhere. So basically, because this is a constitutional process, it is imperative that we discuss these things by grounding our discussion itself in the Constitution. So that is where we are going to start with. What does the Constitution provide? Then you can later on come to understand why Edwin Sifuna did what he did, and perhaps lower your expectations of what may or may not come. So then let us just read a bit of what the Constitution provides for the sake of understanding really the process of at the Senate, what is really going to take place at the Senate. Now, the Constitution provides that that is article, if I could just read Article 145. Article 145, 3. So you can just start by reading from 3. So within 7 days after receiving notice of a resolution from the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Speaker of the Senate shall convene a meeting of the Senate to hear the charges against the President. So as you're aware, that happened once the National Assembly completed its business. It immediately forwarded a notice to the Speaker of the Senate, and thereafter the Speaker of the Senate issued, or through a Kenya Gazette, a notice to its members to convene, and that meeting happened today to discuss how to dispense with the impeachment hearing against the Deputy President. But there is an addition to it, that what the Senate can or cannot do, or rather may or may not do. I think that is the aspect of it, the issue of how it's going to choose to proceed with the matter. So then B comes about, that is 145.3b says, the Senate by a resolution may appoint a special committee. May appoint a special committee. So the key operating word there is may appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter. So in the event that a special committee is appointed as envisaged under that article, then the committee would proceed and investigate the allegations, and upon investigation, report back to the Senate within 10 days whether it finds the particulars of the allegations against the Deputy President to have been substantiated. So that is what it provides. So then, we have a situation when the proposal was made before the Senate by the majority whip, I believe, Senator Aron Cheruiyot, and he called on Sifuna to come and second the motion. Then Senator Sifuna refused. So the motion was basically for the constitution of a special committee. So then it would mean that the impeachment would not be at the hearing, would not be at the plenary, or rather hearing it in the manner in which they did with the Meru governor's case, where the hearing was conducted in the plenary. So in this instance, rather than agreeing to second that kind of motion, which would have opened it up for discussion before the Senate and thereafter voted on, he killed it instantly, which means now the motion would probably be discussed. The hearing will probably happen before the plenary. The danger of that happening, of that, is that it lowers, it really put the Deputy President at a risk, because he's dealing with politicians as they are, rather than people who perhaps have some sort of expertise to investigate a matter without necessarily applying their biases. So a report may come that does not suggest its removal, but where it is left to the people or politicians to just discuss it at the plenary, people will vote with their emotions. So if you are a supporter of the Deputy President, that is not the best way. That is not the best way. That is now been left to defend himself before the Senate, in the plenary itself. That is not the best way. And that is why I believe those who are excited by the move of Edwin Sifuna to refuse to second that motion, it may turn out to disappoint them, because Sifuna basically, and I believe this is something that they discussed with Aron Cheruiyot. If you could just watch the the body language of Aron Cheruiyot, they knew it was going to come. They wanted this thing to be in the plenary so that they can discuss it. They dispense with it as fast as possible. And indeed, after that, you saw the Speaker of the Senate, was also quite upbeat when he read the implication of that, of refusing to second that motion. He basically stated that that motion could not now come up again for another secondment, meaning it died at that stage. So right now the Deputy President is left to really face the whole of the Senate, and that is not really good for his defense. So once again, I'm urging our viewers that you do like these videos, share them if you can, and also let us have your feedback. We would appreciate to know, or even your feedback on the topic of discussion, so anything you'd like us to analyze for you in terms of what is going on, both within or beyond the impeachment proceedings against the Deputy President. Have a lovely evening, guys.